We are going to talk about Two Wheel Tuesdays on the way, your chance to get some free gas. This is blowing up. And we have got, let's do this right now then. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. I've got Randy Bachman here. Hold on. Follow me now. I gotta take my headphones off, so I'm gonna go headphoneless, so I can't really hear what's going on. But we're gonna do this here. All right, coming through. How are you? Okay, first of all, nice to meet you.
I'm fine.
This is very cool. Randy Bachman with me, and this is, I gotta say, biggest celebrity ever on my show. Only celebrity ever on my show. I appreciate you being on.
Okay, I'm the only one.
You're the only one so far, but the biggest. That's the nice thing, right?
And I'm the last. Once they hear about this.
It's so true. So you're here, and this is good. Now, let's start off with the album. This is very cool. It's kind of like a jukebox thing where you've done a bunch of covers. Is this stuff that you grew up with?
This is what Burton and I used to play in a band before we decided, let's try to write our own songs, like Lennon and McCartney and Jagger and Richards and, Brian Wilson and all the great songwriters. And when we write our own songs, we won't do anything else, just our own songs. So we've had a great career of writing our own songs. And when this idea came up to, look, what inspired you guys? And I said Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley and Elvis and that, well, why don't you do an album of these songs? We went, wow, that would really be great. And we used to play maybe half of these on stage, like way back. Burton was 14, I'm like 16 or 17. And to go back and revisit them was a lot of fun, and we thought of 1,000 names, and at the bottom of my list I had a thing like jukebox, because that's what it is. Because jukebox has such a variety of material, and this thing bounces around from ballads to, pop songs and real rock songs and early rock and roll and stuff like that, and some heavy-duty guitar, acid rock, like the Hendrix song, like Just Like a Rolling Stone and things like that, so it was fun doing it.
Do you feel like you're back in the garage? Do you feel like you're back in those days?
Playing those songs, yeah, you kind of, that's the great thing about these songs, and our own songs too. It flashes the people back to certain memorable times in their life, either falling in love or falling out of love or fighting or, good and bad feelings. And it's the same with us when we play them on stage. We get the same kind of vibes, and I've heard many shrinks or psychiatrists or whatever, people who study people, say the same thing. Nothing evokes memories like smells and tastes and music. Like you can smell onions cooking, and suddenly it's your grandmother's kitchen kind of thing. Or you hear this music and it's the backseat of a car, or you're driving along, you just got your driver's license. And so that's the great thing about this, about the album, and about the fun Burton Cummings and I still have performing, to see the audience's reaction to these songs.
Now, this is funny because you guys solo are amazing, but it seems like when you guys get together, there's a certain magic. And does it feel like that on stage, what we're seeing?
Yeah, when we do our own show, it's like one thing, and you take 1 + 1 and put it together, and it becomes 3. Yeah. And I've also said that applies musically and monetarily, because alone I can make $1. Alone he can make $1. Go together, we make $3. We split it, it's $1.50 each. And it's that way with the music too. There's just something about the sum of our parts that we kind of give or add something to each other. And we knew this long ago, and we come together every once in a while to sample this kind of magical thing that happens. It's very hard to find in the world. Once you find somebody that happens with, sometimes it's a quarterback and a receiver, do you know what I mean? Or it's the center and the right wing, and they become the Gretzky so-and-so. There's just certain guys that you click with, that you can score goals, or you can write hits with, or whatever, or shoot baskets, those.
Falling in love?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good one.
Yes, yeah, I don't want to top you or anything. This is very, now I've been getting mentored, because I'll be honest with you, I'm new to the rock genre, but I'm being mentored by Rob Berg. He's back at the station, and he loves to watch this show.
I was going to ask how Rob is. I usually drop in and see him. Where are you, Rob? I usually drop into the station and see him, yeah.
He's definitely back there, but he told me, because me being an up-and-comer, he said, ask him, you've been to Edmonton once or twice, I've heard.
A zillion times. My driver was just coming in and driving me here, and I was mentioning Klondike Days, K Days. I mean,
Capital X.
All the names have been changed. And she said, "Are you from Edmonton?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, how do you know all these things?" And I said, "I came here as a teenager backing Bobby Curtola in the mid-'60s, and we played the Coke Tent. And we played it like for 4 or 5 days. We went to Calgary, did the same thing. And so I've been coming here, and so I have many friends here that go back from the 60s, and then guess who became not just Bobby Curtola's backup band, but a hit band. We came here and played many times, played with Backroom and Overdrive. I love Edmonton. I've come here for the last 15 years on my own and played K-Days, which it was called, or my own thing, or the so-and-so games or festivals, or New Year's Eve, I've played a lot of great gigs here. So Edmonton's one of my favorite places, and it's great to be here with Bachman and Cummings. And we're bringing a show tonight that's a ride through Canadian vibe history, whatever.
Very cool. Now, I have to ask about this before I let you go, because I don't want to take too much time here. Okay, maybe 2 questions. Can I have 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1.
That was one of them, by the way.
See, that's what Berg would say. That's exactly what he would say. Okay, so you open, and I find this amazing because I'm a big fan of Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin opened for you. I mean, I know that you've probably been asked a million times about this, but...
Well, yeah, when you play a pop festival, it's like you're on there all together with a whole bunch of guys, and we've certainly played a lot of those, and some of them last 3 days. And when you're a really big band, you play and leave because you got to go do another gig. When we started and played the thing with Zeppelin, we were just a brand new band, so we stayed there for 3 days. So we actually played all 3 days. So there's like things like the Seattle Pop Festival where we actually played and hung out backstage with Zeppelin, and 10 Years After, and Sly and the Family Stone, and Chuck Berry, and Bo Diddley, and Ike and Tina Turner, and the Byrds, and the Burrito Brothers, and man, I could just on and on and on and on. So that's the really cool thing. And to see some of these guys still to this day, like 40 years later, and we're all still in good shape, and we're all still rocking and rolling, we're all pushing the boundaries of hope I die before I get old. I mean, the thing now is like, how long can we stay alive, Yeah, and keep rocking, yeah. And my mentors out there who I think are my idols are like Neil Young and B.B. King and the Stones, and you know what I mean, and Plant and Page, from Zeppelin, who are still out there playing. We're all kind of the same age. We're expanding the boundaries of rock and roll, because everyone thought it would only last a few years, and now we're into the 4th decade, and we kind of took it from the originators, but we were that next wave of young white kids in England and the States and in Canada who copied the early Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley's, Elvises, and we're still going. It's a fantastic ride. That
is amazing. Now, there's been rumors that maybe Led Zeppelin may be doing something together. Could you see a Led Zeppelin, Bachman and Cummings?
I'm going to England after this tour, but I was just in England, and at somebody's birthday party in southern France, they did get together with Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son, who's really great. He plays with Foreigner now, and he's phenomenal. And he plays just as cool and simple and heavy as his dad. And there's this big rumble about a Led Zeppelin thing, and believe me, I will be there. And so will you. I mean, see, that would draw 60-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds, and teenagers. They all love Zeppelin. This stuff's still on the radio.
And you.
That's kind of like what Cummings and I draw. We draw we draw 4 decades of fans, 40-year age span, and it's really wonderful. Kids that are just finding rock and roll, and kids who don't want to let it go. They don't want Lawrence Welk on Saturday night. They want to go out and still rock.
That is too cool. So you could be my partial DJ. You could be on the show. Well, your album is?
The album Bachman and Cummings Jukebox.
It's out.
16 songs that will rock your world and take you back to the late 50s and early 60s. Now we're planning Jukebox 2, which would be the mid-60s to the mid-70s. We've had such a great response, and we had lists of favorite songs we sent each other, and we only got a little ways into the list, so we're exploring that a bit more.
Randy, I appreciate you being on the show. I can't thank you enough, my friend.
Thank you.
Very cool. Randy Bachman, everybody. Bachman Cummings. We are down at the River Cree. It's Diesel, it's K-Rock, and no, that's all. I can't top that. It's good stuff.